Okay, we're gonna be talking about this. I had no idea that this would even be a possibility until I checked out Nick Kypreos' updated Sportsnet.ca trade board. Did anybody else see this? Was it just me that did not see this because I tuned in to the programming late? Talk about a pretty great duo, eh? The Detroit Red Wings going after former St. Louis Blues goaltenders. What we're doing in this video commentary is going to be similar to the last video commentary, wherein we spoke about Seth Jones potentially being a target for the Red Wings and or the Canadiens in some sort of a trade capacity. This video, however, is not going over Seth Jones. Instead, we are diving into Nick Kypreos' Trade Board 4.0, why the Blues are open for business. This was posted and uploaded yesterday, and the link is going to be in the description, as is our ExpressVPN affiliate page. This show is brought to you by Express. Go out there and check out the first link in the description to save some money in your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel all in the process. But if you scroll down into Nick Kypreos' Trade Board 4.0, you will see an extended conversation on a bunch of St. Louis Blues guys. But aside from Jordan Kyrou, Brayden Schenn, Colton Parayko, and Pavel Buchnevich, there is one name that actually was a lot more of a hot topic earlier in the month. It's Jordan Binnington of the Blues, who, in a series of stifling saves against Team USA, led Team Canada to an overtime victory at the Four Nations face-off after stopping Austin Matthews point-blank in the slot before Matthews inevitably let McDavid free open in the slot in the American zone for the overtime winner. Jordan Binnington, for as much as people like to clown him for his attitude on the ice, his kind of stone-cold demeanor, and how much of a baby he can be sometimes, he was a good goalie. My gosh, fantastic. Clutch goalie in Boston 2 times in a row now. First, it was the Stanley Cup Final Game 7 in 2019, and then secondly, it was the Four Nations Face-Off Tournament, so good on Jordan Binnington for building that rapport in Boston. But if you head over to what Nick Kypreos writes about with this Jordan Binnington situation, this is what he says. There is a lot of doubt that Jordan Binnington was the best chance to tend Team Canada's net at the Four Nations face-off, with Logan Thompson sitting at home. But Binnington put together a great performance with standout efforts in the most important parts of the games he played. Binnington's play against the US in overtime at the final was the reason why Canada came out with the win, and it garnered him some MVP consideration. He all but locked up the country's starting job when the Olympics roll around next winter. His Four Nations tournament has once again opened the eyes of many teams that he is a big game guy. On my last trade board, Kypreos says, I had listed several Blues players because GM Doug Armstrong was not happy that his team was again chasing the playoffs from distance, so he started to shake things up. Binnington did not make the list earlier this month, but there's enough talk to put him on this one, with the Blues still 4 points out of the wildcard and with 3 teams to climb over. The goalie market is a difficult one to figure out. Thompson himself was traded for a couple of third-round picks in the summer. Colorado went and upgraded its net during the season and acquired Mackenzie Blackwood for Georgiev, Kovalenko, plus second and fifth-round picks. John Gibson has been out there for years, including this one again, but injuries keep biting the Ducks goalie. The Blues would surely demand more for Binnington, a Stanley Cup winner making $6 million for another 2 seasons, and with an 18-team no-trade list attached to his contract. Binnington would be the focus of the goalie market, and we shouldn't underestimate the interest level teams like Edmonton, Carolina, and Detroit have in him. The Oilers may be one of the teams on his no-trade list, but the Edmonton market and playing with Connor McDavid could recreate the excitement that shot him into the Four Nations, so he may waive for them in the end. Nick Kypreos, man. Just casually dropping that the Oilers, the Hurricanes, and the Red Wings could or do have interest in Jordan freaking Binnington of all people? I mean, it makes sense when you think about what he did at the Four Nations and how good he has been. There have been reports, though, that the Oilers are not actually interested in upgrading a net on Stuart Skinner because they do happen to believe in that guy. There's going to be a lot of contention from fans who hear that sentiment and want to immediately challenge it. Hey, is Stuart Skinner really that guy? Why do you believe in this guy? Oh, it's because he went to the finals last year, right? I think there's a pretty general idea that's floating around hockey Twitter and hockey Reddit and hockey YouTube that says that Stuart Skinner is definitely upgradable on the goaltending side of things, even if the Oilers internally might not believe that. But if Edmonton were to want to recreate that Connor McDavid, Jordan Binnington magic, then okay, I would be intrigued to see that go down. The Oilers have been linked to John Gibson for years. We've always been making videos about the Anaheim Ducks sending Gibson over to Edmonton. So, another guy like Jordan Binnington, whose contract is pretty reasonable at $6 million a year for the next 2 years, he could certainly be a meaningful upgrade on the Oilers' goaltending core. Really, if you have Jordan Binnington and maybe Pickard or Skinner as your second goalie, you really don't have many weaknesses aside from the bottom pair defense. Okay, I guess maybe Connor McDavid slumping and not really doing all too much since the Four Nations also hurts, but it's Connor McDavid. We can believe in him to bounce back, I'm sure. But for the Edmonton Oilers, them going out there and making some sort of a trade with St. Louis, I don't know if they'd be interested in, quote-unquote, working together with the team that stole away Broberg and Holloway last offseason. Like, sure, it's not like Edmonton is going out there and making a Binnington trade to help out St. Louis, but I do kind of question if there's some sort of a hesitation there from the Oilers' POV. Hey, do we really want to go out there and negotiate with that guy? The Blues, and the staff that allowed them to steal two of our meaningful young guys away? There might be some bad blood there, who really knows? You know who doesn't have bad blood with the St. Louis Blues, though? Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings. Or at least, I don't think so. Steve Yzerman had a legendary goal against St. Louis all those years ago, so maybe there isn't much tension there. But the idea of the Red Wings also being interested in Jordan Binnington is super intriguing to me, because I kind of think about it like, yeah, the Wings have enough goaltending support now. They have enough goaltending support in the future with Trey Augustine and Sebastian Cossa. Right now, Lyon and Talbot are fine. And you even have Cossa stepping into the NHL once in a while and providing some decent play too. I think the Wings are in a position where they have their guys laid out in the present and in the future. So I do kind of wonder where this idea of Jordan Binnington is coming from, unless you were to want to have another transitory goalie in between the Lyon and the Talbot carryover into the Cossa and Augustine years. If you don't feel like Cossa and Augustine will be immediate NHL goaltenders, if you need to have a little bit of a stopgap in between because Cam Talbot is a little bit old and Alex Lyon is on an expiring contract, if you needed an extra guy there for another year or two, is Jordan Binnington the guy? I mean, you could also very well debate that Binnington is just a straight-up upgrade on Alex Lyon, for example. Although you could say that Lyon making the contract that he has at $900,000, that's already super valuable, so maybe it's worth the extended cost. I do kind of question what kind of upgrade the Red Wings would be looking for in a Jordan Binnington acquisition. If it is just a short-term or a longer middle-term thing, if they want to bleed into the Augustine and Cossa years with Binnington as a mentor there, is Binnington really a proper mentor-like figure? You could let me know your thoughts in the comments section whether or not that rubs you the wrong or right way. But at the same time, I think it should be said that if you get Jordan Binnington, you are technically upgrading. That, I think, is not negotiable here. Binnington, despite the fact that his save percentage and everything has taken a little bit of a dip over the past few years, he is still at a pretty reasonable run for what he has shown off in this previous few weeks here. He had a .913 last year, .899 this year, so his save percentage certainly is not as good as a guy like Kossa's, but you do need a guy who can win games. And that is something that I think Jordan Binnington has proven over the years. I don't know, if they really do think that they could bring the best out of him, we put him in front of a D-core like Detroit's instead of St. Louis, maybe he'll get that save percentage number up. I'm not really too sure. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of Jordan Binnington being a target of both the Oilers and the Red Wings? Via Nick Kypreos, of course. There's a conversation to have about Carolina too, but I didn't want to go out there and talk about that in this video. We can have another conversation about that another day. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Jordan Binnington. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.